In the previous video, we saw the evidences of Taj Mahal being a Lord Shiva temple. If you haven't seen the previous video, then check for the video link in the YouTube description. In this video, we will go through the remaining evidences. So let's get started.
American tourists exposed the lies and cover-up of ASI authorities. American architect by the name of Marvin Wills went near the river Yamuna and saw that Taj Mahal has a huge base which is not made of white marbles but is made of red sandstone from all sides. Then going closer, he found the entrance that directly leads to the underground zone of Taj Mahal. This is the clear picture taken by him in 1964 that shows the bottom floor had wooden door and is locked from inside. He was unable to go inside, but he took a small piece of wood from the door and sent it for radiocarbon dating. And the result showed that the wood predates Taj Mahal by at least 250 years. Immediately after this information hit the newspaper, authorities removed the wooden door and sealed it with bricks and plaster, which is why it appears in a different color now. Doesn't this show that the government authorities know everything but are hiding the truth of Taj Mahal from the public? They removed wooden door so that no one can do carbon dating again and the evidence is suppressed. More lies by authorities and ASI officers. When the questions were raised on why the government repeatedly sealing off all the entrances leading to the underground zone of Taj Mahal, authorities threw a lie. They said that the basement contains mummified bodies of the king and queen and must be kept unexposed from atmosphere so that the bodies are not contaminated. This is why all the entrances have been sealed off to keep the basement airtight. This is obviously a lie, as the bottom floor of the Taj Mahal have many ventilation shafts which directly goes underground. If the tomb is to be protected from outer atmosphere, then why the ventilation shafts are open? Tomb itself is covered by coffin. How can it be contaminated even if the air reaches the coffin? Why closed only the entrances through which humans can enter? Why replace the heritage wooden doors by modern bricked wall? Why does the carbon dating evidence on the wooden door show it was created centuries before the Taj Mahal? Local offers coin to the gods hidden beneath the Taj Mahal. Check the coin shown on top of the sealed passage. This is a religious offering by locals who says underground there exists an ancient temple structure that is connected to Agra Fort, the dwelling place of the Rajput kings. Now look at the domes of Agra Fort, which is just 2 miles away from Taj Mahal. Note the main structure below the dome are made of red sandstone, whereas the dome is made of entirely different material. This means that, as it was in the case of Taj Mahal, domes of Agra Fort were reconstructed later in Mughal style by the ruling emperor. Mahal was connected to Agra Fort, the dwelling place of kings. Agra Fort also has an underground passage that is locked for public by the authorities. Also, the ventilator shaft in Agra Fort is similar to the ones in Taj Mahal. One of the tourists managed to peep through the hole in the underground rooms to see what is there inside. He was able to see this structure, which seems to be very old. Such an 8-faceted pillar with a square base is known as Ashtakon stump and is very common in ancient Hindu temples.
You can see this multifaceted pillar in almost any ancient temple in India, including the world-famous musical pillars of Hampi. Also note that the material used in this pillar is the same red sandstone that is used in the basement structure of Taj Mahal. Agra Fort is just 2 miles away from Taj Mahal. Rajput kings never constructed multiple dwelling places within a range of 2 miles, but they always constructed a place of worship near that dwelling place. This indicates that the Agra Fort was connected to Taj Mahal, and this route was used by Rajput king of Agra to visit the Shiva temple situated in Taj Mahal. You can
for proof of false history taught in Indian schools. Below is one real example of how our history book is filled with false stories. Below is the tablet in Red Fort of Delhi in which it is written that construction of Red Fort was started by Shah Jahan in 1639. Now check the below painting of Shah Jahan era in Bodleian Library, Oxford, which depicts the event of Shah Jahan receiving the Persian ambassador in the Diwan-e-Am of Red Fort in 1628. So obviously the Red Fort existed before 1638 and was not constructed by Shah Jahan. So Red Fort was the palace of Mughal kings and not the monument of Mughal invaders. This is emphatic proof of Indian history being corrupted by the Muslim rulers of India.
Below is the image from Red Fort, in which you can see the 2 swords on either side, curving upwards, the sacred Kalash in between, a lotus bird and a scale of justice. Dotted around are the sun, from whom the Indian Rajput kings claim descent, being a Suryavanshi. At the end of each sword are the conchas considered sacred in Hindu tradition. Everything above shows that the fort was built by a Hindu Rajput emperor, because Mughal emperor will never cast Hindu symbols in his residence.
Octagonal well can exist only in a temple, not in tomb. Below is the massive octagonal well that goes to the bottom of the 7-story Taj Mahal. See the steps that descend till the water level marked by the sun reflection. This was supposed to be the treasury well of the Hindu temple that was used not only to draw the water for prasadam but also has a safe vault to stack all the golds and jewels in the case the temple is plundered or ransacked by the invading Mughals. Actual use of this temple can be found only after emptying the well and going to the bottom through the staircase. Such an octagonal well cannot be found in any tomb. Singing, music and dance room exist in temple, not in a tomb. Above music house in the Taj Mahal garden is one more proof why Taj Mahal cannot be a tomb. Music is forbidden in Islam. Moreover, a tomb needs silence. Hence, the proximity of the music house near a tomb is incompatible with Muslim tradition. On the contrary, Hindu temples and palaces have the tradition of singing and listening to bhajans every morning and evening. Shahjahan's biography confirms Taj Mahal was not built by him. Shahjahan's own official biography, the Badshah Nama, on page number 403, volume 1, refers to a grand palace near a river in Agra which was confiscated from the Rajput king Maharaja Jai Singh of Rajaipur. Shahjahan seized Taj Mahal consisting of 7 stories, 100 plus rooms, dome and support buildings, indicating that the complex was used for religious purpose. Additionally, there is a historic letter written by Aurangzeb to his brother Shahjahan complaining that he is obliged to spend heavy money from his own treasure to repair that aged and cursed Taj Mahal. Now, if the tomb was newly constructed in 1630s, then why the Aurangzeb is calling it as an aged tomb? Many eyewitnesses saw the hidden idols and painting. In 1962, Mr. S.R. Rao, the then archaeological superintendent of Agra, noticed a deep and wide crack in one of the wall in central octagonal chamber of the Taj Mahal. On his order, when the part of the wall was dismantled, 2-3 marble images popped out of the wall, which was immediately reburied, and the whole incident was suppressed by the authorities. There are many reports of colonial Indian civil servants seeing the desecrated idols in the locked room of the Taj Mahal. One civil servant claimed of seeing an idol staring at him from the crack of one of the closed chambers, after which the crack was immediately repaired. French jeweler mentions the plunder of Hindu temple. According to Tavernier, a French jeweler, the work that Shahjahan commissioned in the Tejo Mahal Shiva palace was plundering the costly fixture inside it, uprooting the Shiva idols, planting the centautas in their place on 2 stories, inscribing the Quran along the arches, and walling up 6 of the 7 stories of the Taj. This plunder, desecrating and plundering of the room took 22 years. Most of the construction room was done in the underground stories of Taj Mahal. Foreign travelers' testimony reveals Taj Mahal was not built by Shahjahan. Johann Albert Mandelsloh, who visited Agra in 1638, just after 7 years of Mumtaz's death, in his book Voyages and Travels to West Indies, published by John Starkey and John Bassett, described the life of the entire city of Agra in his memoir. But he makes no mention of the Taj Mahal being under construction. England visitor Peter Mundy, who visited Agra within a year of Mumtaz's death, has spoken of Taj being a noteworthy building well before Shahjahan's time. Similarly, many Europeans came and went, but none of them mentioned construction of any such grand building or love stories of Shahjahan and Mumtaz in their writings. Indian government is hiding the true history of Taj Mahal. ESI and other government authorities till date refuse to unlock, unbrick and unseal locked rooms, which is a matter of investigation for all historians, researchers and all citizens of India. Locking of the access to hundreds of rooms via iron gate and doors indeed raises several questions. It confirms that all the above facts are known to the government of India, but instead of disclosing the true facts, government bans the research done on Taj Mahal and refutes the claim of researchers. The government had put a ban on the book The Truth of Taj Mahal. Government does not allow anyone to glance through the sealed door, nor allow anyone to open any of the locked rooms. Oak petitioned the Indian government to open the sealed door to see the lingams and destroyed idols that are lying inside. But Government of India refused its request by saying that only tombs exist inside, and out of respect for the dead, unnecessary opening of cenotaphs and sealed rooms cannot be allowed. There are more than 22 rooms, and none of them can be opened out of respect for the dead and queen who killed millions of Hindus. Can you believe that? On the other hand, sacred vault of Padmanabha Swami temple was opened by the same government despite of protest by the temple administration. If the government respects the dead, then why the same respect was not shown to the Indian gods? Sadly, a cruel Muslim invader gets more respect than the Indian gods. Two separate petitions were filed by historians to credit the Taj Mahal to Rajput rulers, but both of them were rejected by the courts. A new petition filed in Agra Civil Court 2017 is under progress. Why government doesn't want Hindus to know the truth? Government is already facing a hard time handling the Babri Masjid issue. Right now, only Muslims are allowed to worship inside Taj Mahal. So if the issue of Taj Mahal being a Hindu temple come into public domain, government fears a backlash or a possible attack on Taj Mahal by Hindu extremists as it had happened in the case of Babri Masjid. To avoid Hindu-Muslim conflict, government is not allowing anyone to see the sealed rooms, and any attempt to unearth the real history of Taj Mahal is refuted by the Indian government. ASI has enough evidence to prove Taj Mahal and many other Mughal buildings are not of Muslim origin, but they have been adding the evidences to avoid religious tensions. Shah Jahan created a false story to propagate his fake morality. Vincent Smith, through his book titled Akbar the Great Mughal, questioned the tomb of Mumtaz in Taj Mahal. He wrote, Shah Jahan was married to several other women before and after Mumtaz. She therefore deserved no special consideration in having a wonder tomb built for her. Mumtaz was a commoner by birth, and so she did not qualify for a fairyland burial. Shah Jahan had zero love for anyone. He was only interested in showing his power to other rulers of India. After the death of his wife, fake story of love for his wife was planted by Muslim writers on his direct orders. Hence Shah Jahan Mumtaz is a fairy tale created by court sycophants, blundering historians and floppy archaeologists. In the disguise of building a tomb for his queen, Shah Jahan plundered the silver dolls, gold railings, the gem-studded lattice and strings of pearl hanging over Shiva idol. So as you see in this video, many of the mysteries of Taj Mahal is unknown to the public as they leave the Taj Mahal just after seeing the tomb. If these apartments and secret rooms are open to public, whole world will know the truth of the Taj Mahal. Only if the public knew that the Taj Mahal has hundreds of rooms inside it, they will insist on seeing each of the 100 rooms. At present, they just glance at the tomb and walk away. Public need to raise all the above questions to the government and insist on opening all the sealed doors to know the true history of Taj Mahal. However, no matter how hard the government try, truth will be exposed one day. As the popular saying goes, truth always triumphs.